Hi, then we can start.
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, hi guys. Good morning. Uh, yeah, before we begin, like, shall I know who are the students here? Like, is it Manoj and Ram or Ritesh, Harish? Hello, hello.
Hello.
Yes,
Yes, sir. Arihant.
yeah, you're the student, right, Aryan?
Yeah.
You and ca can you introduce yourself, Aryan? What you are doing? Like,
I just doing a Palo Alto firewall, but
hmm,
I want to know about AWS. What is AWS and
hmm, hmm,
more details by AWS.
hmm. Okay, fine, got it. So, let us start our course. Okay, so this course, what I'm doing here is this AWS solution architect. Okay, so this solution architect course will teach you guys from end to end, right? So I'll start from the basic, right? One who doesn't know what is cloud, right? Why they need to get into cloud, what is the advantage of cloud and how cloud is going on, how the people are using in the real time. Everything I'm gonna teach you in this class, right? So in this entire class, end to end. So once you complete this class, right? Any scenarios, if they give you, if they ask you to, or create any architecture, right? You can easily go and create it. So that's the essence of this class. All right. So give me a second. I'll just show you the important this thing, what all we gonna do in this class. All right. Let me share my screen. So I hope my screen is visible, guys, right? Is my screen visible to all?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. So this is the curriculum of this course, right? So this will teach you AWS Solution Architect Associate. So after this, either you can clear the exam, right? Or else, if you want to work directly into cloud, you can do that as well. Okay, so this is the beginner to expert course. So here, what all we'll be touching, right? What all you will be learning. So we'll start with introduction, right? We'll start with course introduction, the exam guide, and I'll be teaching you, starting you with the fundamentals, right? What is cloud? Why do we need to learn cloud? What is the architecture in the cloud? All right. So then we'll start our important services which we are using in day to day in the current market, right? In all the IT industries, what they are using right now is the most used services. You can call it as EC2. We'll go deep dive, right? We'll not just touch upon it. We'll go deep dive. How do we launch it and what are the different types? What are the different pricing model? Everything gonna do deep dive. We're gonna do labs as well. I'm gonna give you assignments and we can do in the same class, we can launch an EC2 instance, right? So this is one of the important service. Then we'll talk about load balancers. You people might already know what is the essence of load balancer in our day-to-day work, right? So we're gonna touch load balancer, the monitoring services, managed services. So these are the few managed services in AWS we have, right? We're gonna talk about serverless architecture, and the main, without this you cannot do anything in AWS. That is VPC, right? So this is a very important, the most crucial topic. This we're gonna go deep dive here, right? And the S3 bucket, you might have already heard how S3 they are using in real time, right? So this S3 bucket, IAM. storage services. What are the different storages we have, right? And then we have our databases. What are the different databases? At the end of each topic, I'll give you the exam tips as well. Where do you need, if you're planning to take exam, where do you need to focus? How they're gonna ask in exam, right? Everything I'll give you the tips. And then databases in AWS. What are the different databases we have? Why do they have different databases? What is the need of new databases, right? Everything I'm going to talk about it. And then we have something called decoupling architecture, right? So this is very something unique and which is brought by AWS, like in order to make your work to not to stop, right? So if any work is coming, it should not stop your work. It should not affect your application. So we have something called decoupling architecture, and the main thing is routing. So any request which is coming to your architecture in your project, or to your application, how do you route it, right? And how do you deliver your project to the end user? So this topic talks about it, right? And then again, the serverless architecture, we have some few important services. Again, these are very complicated. So whichever is very complicated, we're going to touch only the high level overview, right? So most used, which is required for the interview or for your exam, that we're going to go deep dive. Okay. So this is optional. So this, they won't ask in exam. This is optional from me, right? So these, since it's a security is a very demand in nature now, it has very good demand. So I'm going to teach you few security service at the end of the course. If you know this, it will give you a boost up in your resume. Okay, so these are the security services in AWS. Okay, this is like an additional point. Okay, any doubt here? So yeah, Manoj is asking what kind of jobs you will get after completing this course. Okay, so let's say you have completed this course and you have completed the certificate, you have taken the certificate, then you can directly apply for Cloud Ops Engineer, AWS Cloud Ops Engineer. Okay, so directly you can say I have experience in AWS. So if they ask you to, okay, can you deploy any VPC? Can you deploy any EC2? You can say yes, I can do it because I'll be teaching you that, right? So after completing this course, you will be ready to apply for the job called Cloud Ops or Cloud Operations Engineer. Okay, AWS Cloud Engineer, like these kind of jobs. Okay, if you see, just if you are free, just go and check in Naukri or LinkedIn, how demand is that for AWS cloud engineer, right? So every day they need a lot of cloud engineers because everyone are moved into cloud. So they want someone to know everything, right? They want few people who knows everything. Now, what developers will do, what testers will do, they'll just pick up one or two topics. They'll just pick up this 2-3 top services. They'll be working on the same thing. If they get any problem, let's say they're working on this ELB security groups, developers will be working, they'll get a issue, they'll get some error, their application won't work. So whom they'll contact? First, they'll come and contact to Cloud Ops. So that is how your point of contact will come. If you learn this, they will come to you in the company. They'll ask you, okay, I'm not getting this. Can you please fix it? You might get this kind of error, or you might get implementation as well, right? If you go into any startup or any kind of new project, they'll give you some documents. Okay, you following that, you need to implement it. Okay, so going further down the line, you will understand that is not an issue, right? But this course will give you high weightage in your resume. Definitely it's going to give you high weightage. All right. So this is the curriculum. This is what you will be learning. Any doubt in this, guys?
Yeah, I have a query.
Yeah.
So we have multiple services here, right? Like network service, database, and multiple or. So if my profile is network, means I am a network engineer, so I will be concentrating on this BPC, this direct connect, IBPN, these parts, right? So the things which are to database, I'm not be expertise on that one. So
Yes.
how these engineers are segregated on job role? Because if means in market they are asking with networking, whatever my skills with AWS and Azure, and related the network services skills like VPC and direct connect, IPsec, these things. So how does that work? Means I need to concentrate on the limited services, or how come?
So let's say you are already working professional. Okay. So as you said, you are working professionally network, right?
Yeah.
So you said you are into networking and you want to enhance. So AWS will give you like an advanced feature, right? So right now you might be using old tool, old technologies, software might be old. Now everything we have moved into cloud. So you need to learn networking in AWS. So here this course will cover that as well. So all the networking parts, right? Network engineers, what they will do, which services they'll use. So you should be strong in that services. Say, let's say if you want to continue in the networking only. I don't want to get into complete cloud. I want to continue my this thing in networking only. So then you need to concentrate on networking services. What all we have, right? Or network firewall, right? VNets, subnets, all those things you need to be aware of it. So if you see this virtual private cloud, this completely talks about networking only, right? Without this networking, we cannot deploy anything. So if you want to continue, you can just concentrate, focus on entire networking part, but it is always, good to learn because while deploying VPC, you will not just focus on networking, right? You will be connecting other services as well. You will be connecting VPC with EC2s. You will be integrating VPC with other services, right? So you have to learn everything, but again, I'll tell you which are the networking services. So if you want to continue in the networking, you can focus on that. That is not an issue.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Yeah, clear. So AWS will just give you like advanced tool. It will make you like a advanced, that's it, right? So I'll explain you. You will get to know how AWS will help you in your ongoing professionals jobs. All right. Yeah. So I didn't get your name.
Devashish.
Debashish. All right.
So, are we going to cover, means how we connect our legacy on-prem data center to AWS, and how this gets connected?
Yeah. Definitely, I'll show you that. We have a lot of different types also connecting on-prem to cloud. We have different types, not only one way. There are multiple ways to connect. Right, everything I'll show based on the scenarios. On this scenario, which we'll use on this scenario, which.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Manoj, I'm also advanced. I have done CCNA, so I will understand these technologies. Yes, Manoj, correct. So one who is good in technology, networking, for them it will be very easy, and you will feel AWS very easy to learn. So for anything in the cloud, so this is the base, guys. Okay, solution architect associate is the base. So this will teach you all the fundamentals in cloud, right? That's why this course has good demand. If you go for the interview, they'll ask, do you have any certification in AWS? All right. So if there's no doubt here, yeah. So if there's no doubt, we're gonna start our first session. Okay. That is, today we're gonna do introduction, and I'm gonna teach you the fundamentals. All right. Okay. So this is some small introduction about me. So if you don't know only, so I've done Palo Alto and working as a technical designer in BT, it will be beneficial. Okay, sure, Gaurav. Yeah, it would be very helpful for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So let us start. So this course is designed by me, right? So I've taken from my experience, from my internet. So whichever is useful to you guys, only I have handpicked and I have designed it. All right. So I am a multi-cloud security consultant in one of the product-based company. So I have certifications in AWS, Azure, and Terraform, right? So my day-to-day work, I'll be dealing with AWS only. So every day to day, I'll be getting a request to review the architecture. They'll ask my advice, to build architecture on AWS. I need to review, I need to see the security loopholes. So entirely on AWS. So I believe I would be the perfect guy for you guys to get your hands on in the AWS, right? So along this course, I'll be giving you interview tips. Okay, please note it down. So if I talking about any services, if I get to know that they're doing this, I'll tell you. Okay, this question you might get in interview. They might ask you like this. So I'll be giving you that tips as well. Just note it down whenever it's possible. Okay. All right, so this is about me. Let us start. Right. So first, we need to understand who this is the cloud for. Okay. Who should learn the cloud? Okay. For that, just a second. All right. So can you guys see my screen, right? Screen is visible.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So let me give you the example. Okay. So let's say there's a carpenter. Okay. So there's a carpenter. He construct one chair. Okay. Carpenter construct a chair or he build a chair, right? This is your wooden chair. Okay. Let's say this is the wooden chair. So who does it? Carpenter does it. Now we have two carpenters. Okay. One carpenter with old tools. Okay. He's using old legacy tools. Okay. Old tools, and another carpenter with new advanced tool. He's using new advanced tools like machines. He's using machines, right? He's using all handmade tools. Okay. So we have two carpenters. So to build this wooden chair, this old carpenter, how many days he will take? Let's say he will take 20 days for one chair. 20 days. Okay. He'll take 20 days to construct one wooden chair. Now, same work, same furniture. Okay. Same chair. What is this carpenter will take with the new tools? How many days he'll take? He will take what? Only 10 days. Okay, so if you see what is the change here, what is the change? End product is same. Okay, your work is same. Your work, what the carpenter does, the work is same, and the end product is same. Only change here is he's using advanced tool, right? He's using advanced tool. Same thing, it applies for the cloud guys. Okay, so now if you are a developer, as a Debashish said he's a network engineer. Okay, no, Debashish is a network engineer. So all these days he might be using old services, right? On-prem services. He was using on-prem. So there will be a lot of complications in all on-prem services. So for any kind of end task or anything, for any client task, so he might taking 20 days to complete it. Now, after learning cloud, now let's say Debashish will learn the cloud. Okay, so all his projects are on the cloud. Now, what Debashish will do? He'll take only 5 to 10 days to complete the same work, and also with good efficiency, right? So with good efficiency, 100% efficiency, and with end product is also would be very nicer than the before one, right? So that is the main advantage of cloud, guys. Okay, so you are not learning something out of the topic. No, if you are a developer, let's say you are a developer, you are writing a code, all these days you are taking 20 days. After learning the cloud, same developer he'll get advanced technology. He will write the same code for the same project within 10 days. And if you are a tester, right, same it applies to anything. If you are into SAP, same SAP guy. So cloud will give you enhanced boost. It will give you additional skill set, right? Work will be same. Okay, it will give you additional skill set to complete the work even more faster and even more resiliency, and there's a less chance of losing your data in the cloud. That this is the main advantage and the main thing. Everyone are moved into cloud. Okay. Any doubt here, guys? Did you understand why cloud has introduced?
Yes.
Hi, sir. How can I understand in the technical term?
Yes, going forward, you will understand.
Okay, okay.
Okay, this you just understand the concept first. We're gonna
Okay,
focus on if you know the concept, it will be easier for you guys to understand, right?
okay, okay.
So this is the first thing. All right. So this was the first thing you can do. Okay, if you're walking into, if you are into any professional learning your cloud, it will give you boosted. Or else, if you don't know anything, okay, if you are not into anything, right? If you want to completely come into cloud, your day-to-day completely want to be in cloud, then cloud ops job will come. Okay. As I told you in the earlier, so cloud ops engineer. So what cloud ops engineer will do? He'll be taking care of entire cloud. Okay, any problem in the cloud, you should be able to fix it. This is cloud ops engineer. As Debashish said, this is it is for them. If you are already working professional, a developer, tester, SAP, security. As I saw my thing, my introduction, I was already into security. Now learning AWS has given me extra boost. Now all the architecture has moved into AWS, so I'm reviewing in the cloud, right? So it has given me extra boost in my work. That's it. Okay, that's the main advantage of cloud, guys. All right. Okay.
So if I talk about infrastructure point of view,
Hmm.
in any enterprise infra or anything, so AWS will the replacement for the data center environment only, not the LAN environment, right?
I didn't get you. Can you please repeat it?
The AWS
Hmm.
in the infrastructure
Hmm.
is the replacement of only data center. Means data center environment means what are we are hosting in data center that
Ha
will
ha ha. Exactly. Yeah. So
okay.
whatever you're doing in the on-prem, let's say you're connected to a data center physically, right? So, but in when it comes to the cloud, everything moves to the cloud. You will be doing virtually. There will be no any physical thing. Okay,
Okay.
everything you will get to know. Okay, so everything you will get to know in this AWS. All right.
Okay.
Let's move on. Right. So this is just a graph or just a small understanding, like how was the world, like how was the infrastructure, how was the architecture before the cloud, right? So what was the challenges? So what this graph indicates, so what this graph is, let's say this graph is for some any startup company. Okay, let's consider this graph is for Swiggy. Okay, so in 2016 there were very less demand. Okay, so in 2016 they were not yet moved into cloud. They were deploying all their project, all their application, everything through data centers, through load balancer, all through on-prem. So they designed it. Okay, they expected only the expected growth will be only this up to this curve. Okay, and they have equipped all the resources up to this demand. Okay, so in 2016 they got a few demand. Okay, in 2017 was also okay, it was in the limit. And if you see in the lockdown, if you see in the lockdown, suddenly the demand got increased huge. The demand increased very huge if you see here. So someone like that startup, what they will do? So if the demand goes up, if they are on-prem, what they need to do, they need to equip everything, right? First, they need to equip a laptops, right? And they need to, hire resources. They need to expand their team, right? They need to do more new deployments, new testing, everything they need to do it. So what would be the cost for them? And what if, okay, this demand is there, and what if in 2020 that demand goes down? So whatever they had, it will go off waste, right? So that is what the before cloud challenges. What was the challenges? Low infrastructure utilization. Okay, and it needs ahead of time planning. Okay, they need proper team to sit and plan, and it is a high cost of procuring infrastructure. All right, and there should be a separate dedicated infrastructure maintenance team. Okay, only to maintain this growth, only to check the demand, and also these were the extra cost for the any startup or any company, right? These were the challenges they were facing. If there's any demand comes up, sudden demand, they couldn't afford it, right? This was the challenges. So then comes the cloud. So what the silver lining in the cloud, what it states is, how about renting a resource? So cloud is all about renting your resources. That's it. So whenever you want them, take it and release them whenever you don't want it. That's it. Okay, cloud is nothing but your rental service. How do you rent a Zoom car? So whenever you want to go for the trip, you will rent a Zoom car based on your request. Like if you're a big family, you will rent a big car. If you're only 2 members, you will rent a small car, right? Based on your requirement. So cloud will always be there for you. So this helped some startups, for some IT companies, it helped them a lot. So now the demand increases, they will rent it. So what is the advantage? Lower cost. They'll only pay for the use. No upfront planning needed. So they don't need this team. They don't need this again extra infrastructure team, maintenance team to take care of it, right? And avoid undifferentiated heavy lifting. You guys know what is a lift and shift method, right? So if there any new requirement comes, they need to again build a new environment. They need to shift from older to newer environment, right? All those things got reduced after the introduction of the cloud. Okay, so only challenge here is learning the cloud, building cloud enabled applications. So they want this engineers now. Now you guys know why cloud boom has increased. So they want these engineers building cloud enabled application. This is what you're gonna learn in this course. Okay. Rent will always be higher instead of own properties. No, rent will be very less. No, Manoj. You will only pay for the use. Let's say you are using one services in AWS. Okay, if you are using only for 1 hour, you will be paying only for the 1 hour. If you're going to procure it, okay, if you want to buy a laptop, how much you need to pay? Right, you need to pay a lot. Rent is always give you lesser cost. It will reduce the infrastructure cost. All right, so this is the silver lining of the cloud. That means this is the same for all AWS, Azure, and Google. On this silver lining only it works. So any doubt till here, guys? Debashish, Manoj, Gaurav.
No.
Okay, you're able to get it right. So these are very important, guys. Basics are very important. If you know the concept, why they have introduced, why we need to deploy this, okay, learning this will be very easy. Okay, implementing is very easy if you know the concepts. Correct. So next comes up why we have selected only AWS. Why you guys need to learn AWS? Okay, because if you see AWS as a most services and it's a leading cloud service provider. Okay, there's a more chance of getting job in AWS now. Okay, if you see the market share, you guys already know it, I guess. Okay, AWS has more market share. If you see all the product based companies, no, you'll get higher chance of to get into product based company, wherein Azure is also good. Okay, but it will be only in the corporate only. Like if you see the Netflix, okay, Disney Hotstar, these are product based, right? They will be using AWS. Okay, so Azure will be only most of them will be used by the corporate people. So that is why we have selected AWS. There's a more chance of getting into the job. Okay, so almost 80 to 90% is same, guys. AWS and Azure, only the naming will be different. So learning any one cloud is more than enough. Okay, so if you guys are good, then we can start our first AWS class. Okay, this was about the cloud. How was the infrastructure before the cloud and why cloud has introduced, right? So now let us start about AWS. Okay, so if you guys are planning to take exam, okay, so these are the topics you need to focus, or anyhow they have divided equally: resilient architecture, high performing, securing architecture, and cost optimized. You should be good in all these four things if you want to clear the exam. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say here. I'll be covering all the services, okay, related to this. Okay, So if you want if you want to prepare for the exam, let me know. I'll give you extra tips. However, in the end of my course, I have placed all the exam tips. Okay. So what is the exam fee? So now AWS has removed cloud practitioner. So they have only solution architect. So solution architect associate exam fee is 12,000, which you will be directly paying to AWS. You can check that in the AWS service page as well. And if you want, I'll share you that.
Hi, sir. This is open standard, like proprietary, like for the only for the AWS Amazon.
This
This
certificate.
technology. This like technology is open standard.
Yeah. So technology in the cloud. Okay, for all the three, we have three vendors, right? AWS, Azure, and GCP. All the three vendors follow the same technology.
Okay. And the Terraform is just eligible for three. Like Terraform will
Terraform
be.
is a cloud neutral.
Okay.
Okay. So how Terraform works is, so let's say you have got into some big company or any other company. They are using AWS cloud environment. They are using Azure environment. They are using GCP environment. Okay, let's say they're using all these three. Now, let's say if you want to introduce one application. Okay, if you want to implement one application here in AWS. Okay, so now to need, if you like typically go, if you follow into the console, AWS console, Azure console, right? You need to log into the console, you need to deploy one, come out of it, you need to go to the Azure, deploy it, come out of it, go to the GCP, deploy it, right? This is the typical way to do it, but it will consume a lot of time. That is why Terraform has introduced. Okay, what
Okay. So
Terraform?
this is different from the Ansible.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Terraform is just a scripting language, right? So wherein you can use this tool. Let's say if you want to deploy these services in all these three, in single click, you can just write multiple scripts. If you see launch, right? It will at a single click, it will launch at three environments.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Terraform is easy. Yeah, you can learn it. First, if you understand, if you learn any one cloud, that's more than enough right now. Yeah, the one
Sure.
more guys. Ram, I'm trying to switch in cloud, but I'm confused which cloud is high demand. In India to get job easy. Now I'm working as a system admin. Okay, so Ram, there's a three scenarios like if you want to switch into the cloud. So first you need to decide which type of companies you want to go. If you want to go to the MNCs, right? If you want to get into the MNCs or service-based companies. So right now they are more focused on Azure. Okay, why? Because they'll get some discount, right? So most of the people will like to use Azure because of it. But if you want to get into higher big product based company like PwC, right? Many product, Deloitte, Netflix, Amazon, right? All those big short companies, they'll be using AWS, right? So if you want to get into the cloud, so I would suggest you to first learn AWS properly from end to end. Okay, you learn the AWS end to end. If you learn AWS end to end, it is easy to learn AWS than Azure. Okay, since I have done both Azure and AWS, as per my perspective, AWS is very easy, guys. Okay, they have designed in such a way that even the fresher should understand, right? So AWS is very easy to learn. If you learn AWS, you will be learning 70% of Azure. Okay, so in the interview, what they'll do, they'll check your AWS knowledge, and if the requirement comes, they'll put into Azure. Okay, so the highly suggested, highly demanded right now is AWS. I think I've answered it, Manoj, for you. Yeah, AWS is in good demand. If you learn AWS, GCP is just a copycat of AWS, guys. Always remember. So sorry, it's not a copycat. It's exact replica of AWS, GCP. Okay. So I'm still looking into it. Just by looking the services, I got to know that GCP is just a replica of AWS. So okay, you don't have to again spend time in GCP. Azure, only a little bit of difference is there. Say let's say 30% difference is there. Okay. So I would suggest always to start in AWS. If you know this, you can get into any of this. All right. So that was about, yeah, I've shared you this link. Okay, if anyone wants to take exam, who wants to know what is the pricing, so just go through this link. All right, so it is a self-explanatory. You can read it. If you get any doubt, ask me in the next class. Okay. Right. So here, before we start, right, we need to do something called a root user setup. So what is a root user setup is, you want to if you want to learn AWS, if you want to get into the AWS, if you want to do all the stuff in AWS, you need to have, for the lab and all, you need to have some AWS account. Everyone has it, and everyone has it, right? AWS account, yes or no? Devashish has it. Manoj doesn't have it. Okay. Okay, Ram also has it. Okay, great. Okay, so then everyone has it. Manoj, I'll just show you quick overview. Okay, I'll just show you quick overview how to set up. Okay, you can follow it, right? So how do you set up a root user account? So people who knows it, who already have account, okay, you can just stay on the call. People who doesn't, you can follow these steps. Okay, first thing what you need to do, just go to the Google, just type AWS free tier. Okay, as soon as you try AWS free tier, you'll get the first link. Okay, free cloud computing service free tier. Click on this. After you click, you will get this second page. Okay, so here you click on create a free account. AWS free tier under, you have to click on create a free account, right? And then you have to give your root user email. So give your personal Gmail, okay, and then give account name and then verify. Once you click on verify, you will get some code for your email address. Put it and verify it. Okay, once you put your verification code, right, then you have to give your password. Very simple. Okay, once you give the password, so here comes a very important step. Here you need to give some card, Visa card. So I suggest you guys to give some credit card. Okay, if you have credit card, so in future you will not get any billing issues. So if you have credit card, go with the credit card. Okay, they will deduct just 1 rupee. Okay, so give your credit card and sign up. Okay, and just for the confirmation, you can give your phone number, because at sometimes they'll do MFA. Okay, that's why they require phone number. So card and phone number is the important setup. So and then final comes the plan. So here you need to select free plan, basic support. Okay, so once you click, that's it. So you should get this page. Congratulations. If you are at this page, then you have successfully created a root user. Okay, once you create a root user, you can use that Gmail and password to get into the console. So let me show you how the console looks. Manoj, please follow these steps. It's very easy, Manoj. Okay, just 4 to 5 steps. Yeah, create it, Manoj. If you get any doubt, let me. So I'm signing into the console. I'll share the screen again. All right. So this is my AWS console, guys. Okay. So few people who already knows. Okay. And one who doesn't know, this is how console looks. So this is where you will be doing all your AWS stuff, even in the even if you get into AWS or even if you get into projects also, you'll be doing here only. Okay. So they'll be giving you this console access. Once you get into any job, okay, they'll give you the console access. So if they ask you to implement, if they ask you to do all the services, you will be doing this only. Okay. So it is same like your Flipkart and Amazon website. It's very easy to learn, very easy to browse. All the details you will get it. Right. So let me show you the services. So whenever you are preparing for the interview or for the exam, go prepare like this. Okay. So let's say click on view all services. Right. So let's say they'll ask in interview, okay, Debashish, what do you know about it? What all you know in AWS? In AWS. So you should not say services name. You should not say I know EC2, I know load balancer, I have worked on S3 bucket. No. So professional way of explaining interviewers, you should say by these names. Okay, so you should say, so I have two to three, I have knowledge of 2 to 3 services in AWS compute, right? And I have some knowledge in containers. So when it comes to the storage services, I have knowledge in S3, EFS, and FSH, right? So if I talk about database services, I know few databases. So you should explain services on this. Okay, that's what make you unique from other candidates. Okay, don't say services name directly. Okay, you explain by category. So under compute service, under, so what I'll be teaching is, so I'll be, see, entire thing you cannot write. You cannot, if you focus on, if you want to learn entire thing, it will take 1 year for you to learn everything. And every few months they're adding one new services. So what we will be teaching you in this course is all the major and the most repeated used in real time. If you see here, EC2, Lambda, Beanstalk, right? These are the very most used in compute. I'll be teaching you this. Okay, when it comes to the storage, S3, EFX, S3 Glacier, Storage Gateway, these are the very most used ones. I'll teach you this. Like that, we will teach you. Wherever you go, they'll teach you in this way only. Okay, so this is how you should say in interview. All right. So this is the console, guys. Here you can see your details, account details. Account, organization, billing dashboard, right? Everything you can see it here. All right. So this is how you get access to the console. Please, everyone who is joining the classes, you guys should have console access. If you don't have console access, you cannot cope up with classes, guys. Okay, because every day I'll be giving you small assignments. We'll be deploying 1 or 2 services. So you might require that console access. Okay. So any doubt here? Shall we start our next small topic?
Regarding this, after account creation, how to set this billing alert?
Billing alert.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I will show you once we deploy any services. Okay, because if you do this billing alert now, you'll not get to know, right? Once we deploy any EC2 or VPC, I'll show you how to create an alert for that.
Okay.
Okay. So any other doubt, guys? Okay, so so let us start our basics thing. So that is regions and zones. Okay, so if you want to start, if you want to do in AWS, you need to understand what is the regions, zones. Okay, so before that, what do you mean by data center? Anyone?
So it's basically a collection of servers which are connected by physical cables and which hosts applications.
Yes. Okay, so data center is just a physical building. Okay, if you see here, so it's a facility. Okay, it's the building where you will store all your physical storages or systems, right? All your data will be stored in the data centers. Okay, so this is your data center. This is the main data center where all the information are stored. So I believe everyone knows it. Okay, so this is the data center. Now, what is availability zone? Okay, so availability zone is nothing but collection of one or two data center. That's it. Very simple. So what is availability zone? That consists one or more data centers, right? And then a region. What is a region? So a region is nothing but collection of one or two availability zone, right? So what is availability zone? It is a collection of one or two data center. What is region? It is collection of one or two availability zone. So if you see this image only, you will get clear. Okay, I have explained in this image, right? So each availability zone will be consist of one or two data center, right? And the region will be having 2 to 3 availability zone. Why we need to deploy in region? Because to get a low latency, if you deploy your services or resources in different availability zone, the latency will be very low. Okay, you can even for the disaster recovery, it would be very useful for you guys if you deploy your resources in different availability zone. If one zone goes down, other will be available, right? So any doubt, guys? Clear, right?
So availability zone should be how far the data center are separated in one availability zone.
In one availability zone, how far data center is placed, you are asking?
Yes.
So it in one availability zone, it will not be too far. It will be in, like, if you see the campus, like, right, if you see the campuses, so like that, it will be one big campuses. Okay, so if you see here, if you see Mumbai is one of the region here. Okay, so in Mumbai region, we have only 3 availability zone. Okay, that means in 3 campuses. Okay, something like campus I'm saying. So it will be one huge campus. So data center will be here only, like this. Okay, it will not be much too far in one. Okay, if it's one zone, 2 zone, 3 zone. So so all this clubbing we'll call one region. Between this availability zone, how far these two availability zones, this I'm not sure, like physical distance. Okay, because that's not much irrelevant, but these are not quite far because it will come under one region. If you see this management console, right, so it should be under the Mumbai, it should be in the India region only, right? So it should be somewhere here only. Okay, but you should make sure that one availability zone you'll always having multiple data center, and each region will be having multiple availability zones.
Okay, in the console, what we are saying, that is the region, right? So in India, we have only one region.
Yes, so in India, we have a Mumbai region, and in Mumbai, we have 3 availability zones that you'll get to know, right? And we have one more region, Hyderabad. Okay, still they have not showing here. Not, if you see here, they have Hyderabad also newly introduced. Okay.
Okay.
So next, what questions we are getting is a data sync with all the zone? Yes. If you if you choose to deploy in different availability zone, right? While deploying anything, if you choose, okay, I want to deploy this EC2 in one, is it two, right? Then it will be synced. Same will be. If you don't choose it, it will not be deployed. Okay, again, it will give you some cost if you want to deploy in all the availability zone. But if you are deploying in all the availability zones, it will be data will be synced. Okay, what is the benefits of availability zone? Same thing I told you, right, Manoj? Let's say this one availability zone goes down. If any data center, anything happens here, okay, if this availability zone goes down, still your end user application will be up and running because you have one more availability zone. Okay, same data will be
This
here.
is auto failover test. This is auto failover, or this is by manual doing on this in the zone
This is automatic.
automatic. So
Automatic.
TCDR is there, I think, in the data center
Yeah.
application. Okay.
Yes. You don't have to manually go and if this fails over, you don't have to manually do it.
So
Once you
which
deploy,
in the network, which technology is running in this zone? Means in the SD when there is auto failover, like there, like one link is down, then it goes to another one. So here is the any network legacy network are running, or next generation network are running.
so here we know we don't use any legacy network and all. We will be working on entirely on AWS networks only. Right. So you don't have to worry anything about those networking part and all. So in build, like in the background, it will work on all those AWS network thing. Okay.
Okay,
You
understood.
don't have to define any new. Means it acts as a DC and disaster recovery. You can use for a disaster recovery as well, right? And also you can use for highly available. If you want to make your application highly available. So if you deploy your application in 3 zones also, what happens? Latency will be very less, and your end user application, there's a very less chance of application going down,
Okay.
right?
Failover, how much time it will take to just fail over to another one, like 1 second or millisecond?
Okay, wait a second. I'll show you. So that is completely different service. Okay. For failover only, we have something called AWS backup. Okay, so
Okay.
there I'll be explaining you all the different types of backups, when do we, and different types of how each in RTP, RTO. I'll be talking about all those things in AWS backup session.
Okay.
Okay, so this is just a starting introduction, right? So
Yeah.
here, if yeah, so maybe in the routing here in this session, I'll talk about it. Okay,
Okay.
disaster recovery, everything I'll talk about it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So now this is clear, right? What is region, what is availability zone, and what is data center. So what do you mean by edge locations? Okay. So edge locations are nothing but your mini data center. Okay. So now let's say here in the console, uh, here you have Mumbai, okay, you have Singapore, right? You have Sydney and all. So these are the few regions, but in world there are still a place, right? So if you say Antarctica, if you see Sri Lanka, how do those peoples will get access? So for those things, we have something called edge locations where they'll place some mini data centers. So I'll show you with the reference example, then you will understand. So always edge locations will be more than the regions. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
So if you see, this user is somewhere on the corner, right? There are some places where you cannot deploy everything. Okay, you cannot deploy all these different availability zone data center. So what AWS will do, they'll deploy small mini data centers. Okay, for the people who is in a very far place. So using that edge locations, people will talk to their regions. Okay, using that edge locations, all the services, all the transfer will happen through edge locations. So edge locations are nothing but your mini data centers. This is not a regions, guys. Okay, so region is something something, you'll be having availability zone, and inside availability zone, you will be having many data centers. Okay, so edge locations will be placed at the edge of the, for the users who are at the very edge locations, and they can, even those users can access AWS. AWS means your whatever the website. So if this user sitting here, if he wants to access flipkart.com, okay, how it happens is it will go through edge locations. That's it about edge locations. Okay, don't get confused about it. So if you see this image, right, if you see this round orange mark there, no, these are regions, this orange one. Okay, if you see these blue dots, these are edge locations. So they'll be having lot of edge locations. So all the edge locations will talk to their near regions. If let's say if the user is here, okay, here this user wants to get some access, okay, wants to get access to your AWS. So this edge location will talk to this nearest region. So it will see which region is nearby to me. It will send request to that. That's it. Okay. Any doubt?
Can we see that in the console how many are present in a under
Yeah.
any region?
So edge, so here you cannot see it. Okay. So there are quite couple of services like CloudFront. Okay. So when do we use it? That CloudFront. Where is that? Okay. We have some couple of services like CloudFront and all. Using that, we will deliver our deliver our application to the end users. Okay, there you can see how this edge location works. Okay, when we are deploying that application, there you can see how using that, how we talk to our edge locations user, how do we send, right? We will make use of some applications, something called CloudFront. Okay, but in the direct console, you cannot see, because in console, you can see, if you see here, only the more regions you can see here. It will not show any edge locations. So edge just hosting a small services and application, and they bring the connectivity with the regions. Yes, Manoj, correct. So edge locations are nothing but your mini data centers. That's it. There's nothing to confuse. So in region, you will be having different availability zones. So region is a huge, and there's a very less chance of losing data, and latency will be less. So edge locations for user who is very far, right? They cannot connect to the region, right? This user doesn't have any region there. For them, AWS will deploy small data centers. So using those data centers, they can connect to any nearby regions. That's the use of edge locations. Is it clear, guys? So if you know this concept, when you are deploying anything, any services, you will understand even more better. So CDN is content delivery network, Manoj. So you have some content to deliver to the edge user. So that we call it as CDN. So let's say you are one YouTuber. Okay. So you are doing some content in YouTube, and you are delivering that content to the user in Singapore, right? In Malaysia. How do you deliver? So that's what CDN comes, content delivery network. So that will be taken care by CloudFront. So when we are doing CloudFront service, you guys will understand how this edge location works. Is it clear, guys? Hello. If you see here, see we under the routing and content delivery. Here we'll talk about fundamentals of CDN, CloudFront, how they'll deliver through edge locations. Okay. Okay, fine. All right. So this last topic is there. I'll just explain this and then we can wind up for today. All right. So the main important thing in AWS, so you need to understand what is your responsibility and what is AWS responsibility. Okay. So how does it work? Same way. So let's say now, We'll go with the Zoom car. Okay. Now Manoj goes and rent a Zoom car. Okay, you guys know Zoom car, right? So he goes and rent a Zoom car. So when he goes and rent, there are some properties or responsibilities shared between Zoom car and the Manoj. And you Manoj is nothing but a user. So what is those responsibility? What is the responsibility of Zoom car when Zoom car is giving a car to Manoj? What is their responsibility? They need to take care condition of the car, right? They need to take care papers work, RT work, paperwork should be proper, right? What else? What is the responsibility of other Zoom car? Condition of the car, paperwork. What else? All there should be no fines, right? These all the responsibility of the Zoom car. This is not the responsibility of Manoj, right? If car is not good, this is not his responsibility. He's only renting it. So Zoom car should provide him proper, good, well-maintained car with proper documents. No fine should be there. These are all the responsibility of Zoom cars. Now, what is the responsibility of Manoj when he rents the car from him? So first thing is fuel, right? If fuel goes down, if fuel gets empty, Manoj needs to refill or he needs to go and talk to Zoom. He needs to refill, right? It is Manoj's responsibility. Fuel, speeding, right? What else? No accidents, right? So these are the responsibilities shared between the owner and the user, right? So if fuel goes down, Manoj cannot go and ask Zoom car. Okay, if any paperwork is not there, you cannot go and blame Manoj. This is Zoom cars. So what Zoom car is doing? So whatever you want to rent it out, whatever you want to take the car, we will provide you that. You just refill it, follow some rules, and go and enjoy your trip and give it back. Same technology, same methodology we are using in cloud, guys. Okay, so you are renting a car. If you are renting a car, what is the responsibility of you and what is the responsibility of AWS? So if you see here, what is the responsibility of customer? Okay, that means whoever is using the console. What is my responsibility? We are responsible for customer data, platform, applications, IAM, operating system, network and firewall configuration, and encryptions. These are my responsibility. Let's say here, what kind of OS I'll use, whether I use Linux or Ubuntu, right? What kind of network firewall for which IPs I am allowing, okay, for which kind of IPs I am allowing, which kind of IPs I am blocking, okay, all those things are your responsibility. AWS doesn't take care, okay. AWS will only provide you the platform. So let's say to install this OS, okay, you want to install, you need some platform, right? So we will provide you software, all the compute, storage, database, all networking software, all the software we will provide, and we will take care of all the delivering regions, availability zone, edge location. We will take care. You don't have to worry. So we will take care. If you deploy any application here, let's say you will deploy your Flipkart application. Okay, so your responsibility to take care who access this application, what code you will write, which OS you will use. This is your responsibility. What is AWS responsibility? He will make sure that Flipkart application should be up and running to the end user. So which data center they'll use, to which data center they will send, okay, whether this data center is on or not, this is not your responsibility. AWS will take care. This is how responsibilities are shared between cloud and the user. Any doubt, guys? This is very important for the interview purpose. If you don't know this, again, you guys will get confused. Others, Debashish, Gaurav. Yeah, okay. So please remember this. Okay, this we call it as shared responsibility model. Okay, no classes, few classes they'll miss it. they'll think this, they'll not ask in exam. Why do we? So why I'm explaining you, because you should know in the background what is the responsibility shared. Okay, if anything goes down, okay, if anything, let's say your application, you have not installed your application properly. So when you does it, you cannot go and raise a complaint to the AWS. They will come back to you saying it's not our responsibility. Why didn't you read it? You are the one who did not install application properly, right? And in the IAM, okay, so you will give your database access to your sales guy, and that sales guy will steal your data and will share it to the client or any end user. So in that case, AWS is not responsibility. It is your responsibility, access management. Okay, so that is why it's very important to understand this concept, guys. All right, yeah. So I think this is enough for today, because again, it will be more theoretic. Okay, so in the next class, we'll just go through this architect framework, and then we're gonna do on our first basic, that is first EC2 service, Elastic Compute Cloud. Okay, so what is Elastic Compute Cloud? How do we use it? Where do we use it? How do we deploy it? What are the different types we have, and what scenarios we'll use? Okay, in what scenario we have to use different types? All those things we'll go through it. Okay, any doubt, guys? I hope I have given you the good basics, okay, for the cloud. Now you guys know what is cloud. I mean, why cloud has introduced, right? Yeah, so yeah, thank you, Manoj. So entire session will be like this only, guys. So if you are if you're joining this course, if anyone wants to join, so entire session will be like this. I'll be giving you, explaining you with the concept, reason why, and then we'll have some small sessions, game sessions. Okay, I'll be giving the scenarios to deploy so that you will get hands-on as well. Okay, and I'm sure it will be very fun-filled class. Okay, any doubt also you can ask me. All right. So shall we wind up for the today then? Thank you, Muntas. Thank you, Manoj. Okay, thanks, Ram. All right. Bye, guys. See you tomorrow, same timing.
Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye.